Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to build a blanket ladder. So let's get started. The materials you're going to use for your blanket ladder, or I'm going to use for the blanket ladder I'm going to build, are two 8-foot 2x4s and a 6-foot dowel that's a 1-inch diameter. First things first is I'm going to cut the dowels down to 12-inch pieces, and then I'm going to cut the two 2x4s down to 6 feet. And that's all you need for to cut your dowel pieces and to 6 feet. Next I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. I'm going to angle this against the wall. I'll show you what I'm going to do so I can cut so it leans up against the wall nice and flush. All right, so now we're inside. What we want to do is we want to mark the angles we're going to cut for the top where it leans against the wall and the bottom where it sits on the floor. I also marked the board, L for our left side and R for right side, so we know what side of the ladder they are. So I even put a T for top just so I know the top ones by looking at, how nice the board is or whatnot. So first thing you want to do is take a scrap piece of wood like a 1x3. Make sure your board is straight up and down as best you can. And then have it as where you think it's a nice lean. And then you're going to put this board against the wall. Make sure it doesn't move. And then you're going to draw your line. And then you're going to go on the floor, same thing, flat on the floor. Put it against your board. And then you're going to mark the bottom. And then once you cut, that'll give your angles. So now your board will sit flush on the floor and flush against the wall, so it won't move around as much. Now you cut this one, and then you can scribe or mark the other side, the other piece of the ladder, and cut that one as well. So I lied to you. I said there was no more cuts. Well, there is cuts, because here's for the top piece to angle lean against the wall, and there's the piece on the bottom so it's flush against the floor. I'm going to start measuring down every 12 inches, find the center, and then I'm going to use a 1-inch Forstner bit to drill the holes for the dowels. So you want to put both boards together that are going to be on the inside. So this is the inside of the right side of the ladder, and this is the inside of the left side of the ladder. You want them level, so I put a board here so they're even, and then I'm going to run my tape and mark 12 inches down each time, and then scribe it across both boards. So when I drill the Forstner bit, the hole is going to be in the same spot on both legs. Next, now we want to find the center of each board. If it's 3.5, so it's a 2x4, it's 3.5 wide, it's 1 3/4. So we'll get the center of both these lines, and then we'll just make an X there. So now we're going to get the 1-inch Forstner bit, and we're going to drill about 1 inch in on each ladder. So I'll put a piece of painter's tape here about 1 inch down from where it's going to be drilled, so I can try to line up each one to about 1 inch. And I also decided to only go 3/4 inch deep instead of 1 inch deep. I'm going to sand everything first, because I want to sand it and stain it first, and then I can glue it and put the dowels in at the last, because I'd rather have it all stained first, right? So you're not trying to stain in the grooves and get every little piece. So I'm going to sand everything down, and then we'll stain it. This is the stain we're using. It's called Dark Walnut. And unfortunately, this tiny little can costs more than the wood for the project. So let's get to staining. When I go close up the video once everything's dry, I'll see how it works and how it looks with a blanket or two on them. All right, it is now complete. As you can see, it looks okay, it looks fine. What I did though is I put some felt padding there that sticks on there so it doesn't scratch the wall, and I put some rubber feet. They're grippy on the ground, on the bottoms, because if you have like an LVP floor, a hardwood floor, you don't want it to slip, right? So I put that there so it doesn't either scratch the floor or it doesn't slip out if you have a slippery floor, right? If I did it again, I'd probably make these probably more 16 inches instead of the 12-inch, but it works. As you can see with the blankets here. I don't know how these work. I don't have one. I don't even really see them around, but I guess you could do it like that. So if you have any questions, leave in the comments section below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that bell to be notified when I post another video. We'll talk to you later.